I never thought family could feel like a loaded gun pressed to your temple. But that's exactly what it became the day my mother slipped that silver locket, my father's last gift to me, into my stepsister Elena's manicured palm like it was nothing more than loose change. On the birthday that was supposed to mark my fresh start, she toasted to our blended family, while Elena smirked, her new necklace glinting under the chandelier like a trophy stolen from a grave. And when Elena later whispered in my ear, "This is just the beginning, Arya, next up, everything else that's mine by right," I didn't shatter. I started sharpening the blade she'd handed me. It was a humid August evening in suburban Atlanta, the kind where the air hangs heavy with the scent of magnolias and unspoken resentments, and the cicadas screamed like they knew what was coming. I was 28 that year, old enough to have clawed my way through community college night classes while flipping burgers at Waffle House. Old enough to have buried my dad without a single sob because someone had to hold mom together. Dad had been the rock, gone too soon in a trucking accident on I-85, leaving behind a modest ranch-style house in Decatur, a stack of medical bills, and that locket with its tiny engraved A&E forever, for Arya and Elena, my half-sister from his first marriage. Except Elena wasn't blood. Not really. Mom married her dad, Victor, a slick real estate broker with a smile like a used car salesman's, right after Dad's funeral. Blended family, they called it. More like a powder keg with a lit fuse. The party, if you could call it that, was Mom's idea. A half-hearted barbecue in the backyard with plastic tablecloths flapping in the breeze and store-bought potato salad sweating in the heat. I'd invited a couple of coworkers from the call center, where I logged complaints for a telecom giant, but they bailed last minute, citing traffic. Elena showed up fashionably late, rolling in from her midtown loft in a cherry-red Mustang convertible that Victor had co-signed, her blonde highlights catching the dying sun like she was auditioning for a Bravo reality show. She air-kissed Mom, ignored me entirely at first, and made a beeline for the cooler, fishing out a White Claw like she owned the damn place. Mom, bless her faded denim heart, fluttered around like a nervous debutante, her laugh too loud, her hugs too tight. She'd aged into that Southern belle stereotype, permed hair going gray at the temples. Lipstick always a shade too pink, but there was a fragility there now. A crack in the facade from years of Victor's business trips that smelled like cheap perfume and regret. Arya, honey, isn't this just perfect? She gushed, thrusting a paper plate of ribs my way. Your big day. 28 feels like yesterday for me. Elena sauntered over then, her sundress-hugging curves that came from personal trainers and kale smoothies, not the grind of double shifts. Happy birthday, sis, she drawled, the word sis dripping with sarcasm that only we could hear. She dangled a gift bag from her wrist, tissue paper rustling like dry leaves. Inside was a knockoff Coach wallet, the kind you snag at a flea market for $20. Thought it matched your aesthetic. Her eyes flicked over my thrift store jeans and the faded Braves tee I'd worn since high school. I forced a smile, the one I'd perfected for customer service escalations, neutral, uncrackable. But then came the locket. Mom had been saving it, she said, for a special occasion. Pulled it from her purse like a magic trick, the chain catching the light. I'd worn it every day after Dad died, until the clasp broke during a shift and I stashed it in my jewelry box. Too sentimental to fix. Elena mentioned how much she admired it, Mom explained, her voice pitching up like she was selling a timeshare. And with her promotion at the firm, well, she deserves a little sparkle. Don't you think? Elena's promotion. Right. The one she'd landed by networking with the senior partners at Victor's real estate agency. The kind of networking that left lipstick stains on collars and whispers in boardrooms. I stood there, plate of ribs forgotten in my hand, as Mom fastened the locket around Elena's neck. Elena's fingers brushed Mom's, a conspiratorial touch, and she met my eyes over Mom's shoulder, victory gleaming, cold and absolute. It wasn't just a necklace, it was Dad's voice in my ear on bad days. His promise that I wasn't alone. And now it was hers, like I'd never existed. The party dragged on after that. Neighbors milling about with their polite small talk. How's the job market treating you? Are ya? While I nursed a lukewarm beer and plotted escape routes in my head. Victor clapped me on the back too hard, his breath sour with bourbon. You're a trooper, kid. Family's all that matters. He was the architect of this mess. The one who'd convinced Mom the house was community property after their quickie Vegas wedding. Even though Dad's left it to me outright. I'd fought it tooth and nail with a pro bono lawyer from legal aid, scraping by on ramen and rage until the judge ruled in my favor. The house was mine, 3 bedrooms, creaky hardwood floors, a backyard oak that Dad and I used to climb. My anchor. By dusk, the guests had trickled out, leaving red Solo cups scattered like casualties. Elena cornered me by the grill, flipping her hair back with that practiced ease. You okay? Are ya? You look like someone pissed in your Cheerios. Her tone was all faux concern, the locket nestling in her cleavage like a taunt. Give it back, I said, voice low, the words tasting like ash. She laughed, a tinkling sound that echoed off the fence. Mom gave it to me. What's yours is mine now. Remember? Blended. She leaned in, breath minty from the gum she chewed to mask the wine. And hey, don't get too attached to that house. Victor's got plans. Big ones. My stomach twisted, but I played it cool, the way you do when the trap's already sprung. What plans? She shrugged, casual as flipping a pancake. Just saying. Family sticks together. Then she sauntered inside, hips swaying, leaving me with the dying embers and a fury that simmered slow, like sweet tea left too long in the sun. That night, alone in my room, the one with Dad's old posters still taped to the walls. Peeling at the edges, I pulled out the shoebox under my bed. Photos. Yellowed letters. The deed to the house stamped with my name. And buried at the bottom, the USB drive. The one thing Elena didn't know I'd kept. The ghost of her biggest mistake. The secret I'd carried like a millstone since we were kids. It started back in high school, sophomore year, when Elena was the golden girl, cheer captain, homecoming queen, the works, and I was the quiet goth kid hiding bruises from Mom's boyfriends du jour. Victor had just married in, bringing his perfect daughter to our fracture home. Elena hated the downgrade immediately. No pool, no maid, just Mom's Jell-O salads and my endless chores. So she rebelled. Hard. Shoplifting sprees at Lenox Square. Joyrides in Victor's Cadillac. And then the big one. The forgery. She'd hacked Victor's signature on a stack of lease agreements for his agency, falsifying tenant incomes to close deals on overpriced condos in Buckhead. It netted her a cool $5,000 in kickbacks, funneled into designer bags and fake IDs for Atlanta's underage club scene. But the tenants, working-class families, Black and Latino mostly, evicted when the lies unraveled. One lost her kid to foster care, another attempted suicide after the shame. I found out by accident, stumbling on the laptop she'd left open in the den, spreadsheets glowing like neon sins. She begged me to keep quiet. We're sisters now, Are ya? Blood or not? And when Victor caught wind, his rage was biblical. I'll disown you, you little slut, he roared, fist through the drywall. Mom cried, pleading for unity. So, I did the unthinkable. I confessed. Told the cops it was me, the desperate half-orphan forging docs to pay bills. Juvenile record sealed. Community service at a food bank. And Elena's secret buried deep.
Why?
Because, in that moment, twisted as it was, I thought saving her would save us all. Family, right? But Elena never forgot. She thrived on it, that debt hanging over me like a noose. Little digs, like accidentally spilling my college apps down the disposal, or whispering to Mom that I was ungrateful. Victor climbed the ladder. Mom popped Xanax like candy, and I ground my teeth through it all, building my life brick by resentful brick.
Now,
with the locket gone, that old wound festered anew. I plugged in the USB. The files crisp as yesterday, emails, scanned forgeries, even a blurry photo of Elena counting cash in our old bathroom mirror. Evidence that could torch her career, her life. But revenge isn't a light switch, it's a slow burn. I needed a plan. One that hit where it hurt, her precious image, her grip on this family. The next morning, over burnt toast and black coffee. Mom avoided my eyes, fussing with the dishwasher like it held state secrets. It was just a necklace. Arya. Elena's been through so much with Victor's hours. Through so much, I echoed, sarcasm thick as grits. Like what? Manicures? She winced. That guilty flinch I'd seen 1,000 times.
She's family.
And you're so independent. You don't need things like that. Independent. Code for poor and prickly. I let it slide.
For now.
Work called, 8 hours of man. Have you tried restarting your router? But my mind raced circuits faster than any fiber optic line. By lunch, I'd texted my old legal aid buddy, Jamal, for a consult. Hypothetical, I lied. Inheritance fraud in a blended fam. His reply pinged quick. Sounds messy. Dig up dirt. But don't bury yourself.
Dirt.
I had a mountain of it. That evening, I drove to the old food bank where I'd done my service, the one in East Atlanta with the chain-link fence and murals of fists raised high. The director, S. Rivera, remembered me, hugged me like a prodigal, poured me tamales from her Tupperware. You look haunted. Mija, she said, eyes sharp behind bifocals. I spilled it all. The edited version, the forgery, my false confession, Elena's rise on my ruins. MS. Rivera nodded slow, stirring her tea. Revenge is a mirror. Arya. It shows you ugly too. But justice? That's the light. Justice. The word tasted bitter, like chicory in café au lait. Was exposing Elena justice? Or just payback with a halo? I left with her blessing and a contact, a PI named Gus who specialized in white-collar skeletons. Rates flexible for good causes. Gus met me at a dive bar, off Ponce de Leon. The kind with peanut shells on the floor and jukebox blues wailing low. Balding. Ex-cop with a gut like a beer keg and eyes like chipped flint. Kid. This Elena sounds like a viper in heels. But you sure you want to dance with her? Snakes bite back. I slid the USB across the scarred formica. She owes me everything. Starting with my house. He pocketed it, whistling through his teeth.
All right.
2 weeks. Basic recon. But if it goes south, you didn't hear it from me. The days blurred after that, nights scrolling Zillow listings for escape hatches. Days fielding Elena's texts. Mom's worried about you. Therapy. Smiley emoji. Knife twist. Victor started dropping hints at dinner, his fork scraping plate like nails on chalkboard. House values are up.
Arya.
Ever think of selling? We could all cash in. Mom nodded eagerly, eyes darting to Elena, who sipped her Chardonnay with feigned innocence. The locket dangled, mocking me. I smiled, tight-lipped. It's not for sale. Dad's will was clear. Victor's laugh boomed.
False as a bad check.
Wills get contested. Sweetheart. Family first. That was the spark. 2 nights later, Elena escalated. She burst into my home office, my sacred space. Desk piled with spreadsheets for my side hustle transcribing podcasts, waving a sheaf of papers like a white flag of war. Pack your shit, Arya. This place is mine now. I blinked, the audacity hitting like a slap. What the hell are you talking about? She slapped the documents down. A quitclaim deed, forged in my name, transferring the house to a trust under Victor's agency. Turns out, your little confession back in the day, it voids the inheritance. Fraud taints everything. Her smile was shark-wide. Sign it, or we go to court. And trust me, with your record, you'll lose. My record. The one I'd taken for her. The room spun, rage coiling hot in my chest. How had she twisted it? Buried in the fine print, a clause from the old settlement, leveraged by Victor's lawyers. She'd played me, all these years, waiting for the kill shot. You bitch, I whispered, standing slow. This is my home. Was she corrected? Locket swinging like a pendulum. Family evolves.
Cease.
Time for you to go. I didn't sign. Didn't scream. Just stare her down until she fidgeted, then showed her the door with a calm that scared even me. Get out. And tell Victor his forgery game's slipping. She left laughing, but I saw the flicker, doubt, maybe fear. That's when I called Gus. Double down. I want everything. The recon poured in like monsoon rain, Elena's affair with the agency boss, skimming commissions into offshore accounts, even a hit-and-run she'd pinned on a valet last year outside Fox Theater. Cops had let it slide. Victor's donations to the precinct fund helped. But the crown jewel? Audio from her laptop, her confessing the original forgeries to a friend, voice slurry with coke. Arya took the fall like a champ. Dumb bitch thinks we're square. I listened to it on loop, each play hardening the resolve. Jamal reviewed the docs. The deed was bogus, but contesting it would drain me dry. Go nuclear, he advised. Expose her. But brace, collateral damage incoming. Collateral.
Mom.
Victor. The tenants she'd ruined. Was I any better? Dragging them into the fire? The doubt gnawed. But so did the injustice. A cancer eating from the inside. The plan crystallized over a sleepless week. An anonymous tip to the AJC. The story framed as real estate scandal rocks Atlanta elite. Gus fed them the files. Anonymized, I'd leak the audio to a victims' rights blog run by MS. Rivera's network. Climax at the next family dinner, Victor's birthday. Naturally. At a chop house in Virginia Highland. All dark wood and overpriced steaks. I arrived last, dress pressed, hair tamed, the USB burning a hole in my clutch like a live grenade. The table was a minefield. Mom tipsy on Merlot, Victor pontificating about market corrections, Elena preening in a sheath dress that screamed mistress chic. She shot me a triumphant glance. The locket front and center. To family, Victor toasted, glass raised.
I klinket minne.
Smile razor sharp. The appetizers came, oysters on the half shell, slippery as lies, and I waited, heart hammering like bass at a trap concert. Then, casual as checking my phone, I noticed the alert, breaking news on my screen.
Oh.
Wow, I said, loud enough for the table. AJC just dropped a bombshell. Some real estate hotshots agency, falsified docs, evictions, the works. Victor's fork paused midair. Elena's oysters turned to lead. Mom blinked, confused. I turned the phone, the headline glaring. Atlanta brokerage empire built on forged lies. Victims speak out. The article named no names yet, but the details? Airtight. Elena's face drained of color. Locket suddenly heavy. What is this? She hissed. Justice, I replied, voice steady. For the families you wrecked. For the fall I took. Victor snatched the phone, scrolling furiously. This is bullshit. Lies. But the audio blog pinged next a mess. Rivera's crew had timed it perfect. A link in my email, forwarded accidentally to the table's shared Wi-Fi printer at the bar. The receipt word, spitting out transcripts, Elena's voice. Tinny, but unmistakable. Arya took the fall. Dumb bitch. The table froze. Mom gasped, hand to mouth. Victor's face purpled, veins throbbing. Elena lunged for the papers, but I held them up, calm as a dealer at the World Series of Poker. It's over. Elena. The deed's fake. Jamal's filing countersuit tomorrow. And this. I tapped the USB, sliding it toward her. Your confession. Cops get it next. Unless you walk away. Clean. She stared, eyes wild. The viper cornered. You wouldn't. We're family. Family? I laughed, bitter as black coffee. You stole my dad's memory, my home, my goddamn life. Sign the retraction, return the locket, and maybe I let you slither away with your job. Victor's bluster cracked then, wheedling. Arya. Honey, let's talk this out. Mediation.
No.
Mom's voice. Small but steel. She'd gone white, the pieces clicking. Elena. You did this? All those years ago. Elena's mask shattered. Tears. Real ones. Streaming. It was a mistake. I was scared. Arya, please. The waitress hovered. Awkward. Diners glanced over. Whispers rippling. Controversy hung thick. The air electric with judgment. Was I the hero, unmasking the fraud, or the villain, torching a family for a necklace and a grudge? She signed, pen trembling, the retraction notarized on the spot by a bar regular who moonlighted as a lawyer. The locket clattered onto the table, chain tangled like veins. Victor bundled Elena out, Mom trailing with dazed apologies. I didn't know, baby. I swear. I sat alone then, the chop house emptying around me, the weight lifting and crashing all at once. Victory tasted like ashes, sweet, but choking. But twists, they say, come in the dark. 2 weeks later, as the lawsuits flew and Elena's empire crumbled, Jamal called with the bomb. The original forgery? Not just her. Dad's accident, that rig on I-85? Victor had been the dispatcher. Cut corners on maintenance to pocket overtime. And Elena knew. She'd confessed it in that audio. Buried in static, Dad covered it up. Arya's old man paid the price. Dad's death wasn't random. It was them. Victor's greed. Elena's silence. I'd taken the fall for her crime. But the real sin? They'd orphaned me for profit. Rage renewed. Blacker than before. I confronted Mom at the house, my house now. Papers ironclad. She broke then, sobbing on the kitchen linoleum. He told me after the wedding. Said it was an accident. That we'd make it right. I stayed for you, Arya, for stability. Stability built on my father's bones. I walked out, the locket refastened around my neck. Colder than justice. The final play? I leaked it all, not to the press, but to the trucking union's widow fund. Anonymous. Victor indicted for manslaughter cover-up. Elena for conspiracy. Mom? She chose rehab over ruin, vanishing to a Florida halfway house with a promise to make amends.
Me?
I sold the house, not for cash, but to MS. Rivera's nonprofit, turning it into transitional housing for evicted families. Poetic. Maybe cruel. The oak still stands in the yard. Shade for new starts. Was it revenge or redemption? Elena rots in county. Writing letters I burn unread. Mom calls sometimes. Voice fragile. Forgive me. I hang up. The line dead as Dad's promises. In Atlanta's sprawl, where fortunes flip like cards in a high-stakes game, I drive the Mustang I repossessed from Elena's impound, top down, wind whipping. Free. Finally. But the mirror shows a face etched with shadows, wondering if the blade I wielded cut deepest into me. They say blood's thicker than water. But revenge? It's thicker still, viscous, staining everything it touches. And in the end, as the city lights blur to streaks, I can't decide if I won or just survived the war I started.